Hi, this is a quick overview of the HP 7155. I like the new packaging. They sort of give you a bag to pull it out of, and then they completely hermetically seal the printer inside of one big tight thing of plastic, which is nice because you're not sort of separating it from all that tape. There is some tape, but not like the usual tape to keep the lid down, etc. It's a pretty machine. It looks just like the past 7100 line I've had. I'm turning it on now, and I'm going to try to show you with you in hopefully real time. I'll cut it out if it gets a little too boring here, but to show you what it's doing. Now, this is a typical HP launch. It does have some nice helpful screen imagery. I think I usually don't have any trouble with this part. Now, this one only uses 2 cartridges of ink. That was like my other one too. They, in my opinion, go really fast, and I don't do a lot of pictures, but when I do, it would be fun to have them look nice. I certainly don't mind that. I'm removing the tape here. Now that's the scanner, just sort of everything's just sort of setting itself. The touchscreen was responsive to my right hand. It didn't like my left hand very much, but so I'm trying to hit English there. Now watch, I'll do the right hand, boom, just really fast. And so you just answer your questions there. Now this is making you go to 123hp.com, which is where basically all their apps are for your phones, which is you're going to want to use because they sort of make you go there. And so I do that, and I will show you some of the screenshots of getting you there. It's not, this is the part that I always trip over. Now, before I do any of that online, I want to show you the cartridge. This is the color cartridge. Now, the directions, I took off the tape on the front. The directions are a little weird, and I couldn't get the video that they offer you to play. The touchscreen was being finicky with me, as you saw. Now, this isn't as hard as I make it look. I did go to the app. This is what the kind of drop-down screen you'll get. And just in case I needed to do that to see if it would offer me any help. But this is kind of just to let you know. It says here, we found your printer, so let's get that set up and connected. Tap here to start. And this is kind of the screens you'll get, so you know you're on the right track. This is connecting to the Wi-Fi signal, which is usually a tough process. They made it fairly easy here. So you're connecting to the printer Wi-Fi here. Now what they mean by that is the printer is sending out a signal, and we're supposed to connect to that. Now it took me a minute to understand that, but whatever. Okay, so there, look, I'm just dropping this ink in. It shows you a little picture of the lower part going in first. And when you have it right, now see, the thing is, mine wasn't pushed over all the way, and it doesn't kind of offer you any help. You just have to push that thing over all the way to the right, and these then fall in. And watch, you'll see this was a lot easier. Just it goes in, and then just pick it up with your thumb and press until you hear a click. Now, there it is. There we go. All right. So I'm shutting the lid, and it should know whether I got the ink in there or not. Now, we did have some trouble with this. I'll show you here. It kept saying there was an issue. I had to eventually turn mine off. Now, I couldn't get off that screen, that info screen that you saw. And so I decided to go in and load some paper in it in case it was looking for paper. It wasn't telling me that. The screen has been kind of frozen. Sorry for the sideways picture, but let's see if I can hone in on what it's saying here. Yeah, it's still saying hit info. So I hit back, and it took me back to the language again. Then it says you need to get to the website to fix this. So it says let's try something else. There was some kind of problem they couldn't identify. After doing this for several minutes, what I ended up doing was turning off the printer and turning it back on, and that seemed to do the trick. So if you run into something a little silly here that it's not quite helping you figure out what it is, turn the printer off, turn it back on, and it will actually let you know that that it's correcting itself. And if it doesn't, this time around what happened was it said you have to just take out your cartridges and put them back in. So you're going to see that error come up. So I'm just going to skip to that part. Okay, so I lift the lid and I get the inks snapped out and put back in. and then I'm going to start to do that right now. So I just got in there and I flipped them out and put them back in, and then I'm going to skip that over too. So because then it sort of recalibrated, and this time it liked everything. So it calibrated it, and then it just on its own started printing. Now I didn't want to speed this up so you could get some honest sense of its actual speed time. So there it is, the paper's coming out. It's this is the calibration that's going to be coming out. Now I didn't see any color but blue. Of course it doesn't tell me if I'm what I'm supposed to see, but I just say of course because I don't expect these printers they're not as user friendly in my opinion as the printer companies like to think they are. I'm sure they carry a lot of things they're trying to do for everybody, especially for the people on the go, which this computer does and can serve. But buying these cartridges separately is like crazy expensive. It seems they're small. Now there's the calibrator, it's all in blue, and there's a blank in the middle, so I don't know if my color thing is working or not. And it says you can try calibrating the printer now, or you can continue setting up the printer to calibrate later, whatever. So I just said later, and we're going to move on to see what else they want us to do. And that is basically, I think what it's doing is getting ready to show us the subscription service, which you can also see. Now you hear the dread in my voice. I just don't like things like this. I don't know why. I feel like it's $3 a month. I mean, everybody wants a subscription from us. It's like if it's not the cloud, it's your printer, it's your storage places. So I just did look, for 100 pages, $5 a month. This is for the heavy user, I would imagine. So I'm not that person. I'm just going to buy my own. So just skip all that. If you don't, unless you want it, then go ahead and do it if you think you're going to use that much paper. Now they only give you a small amount of photo paper, which at least they give it to us. Now once I passed all the subscription stuff and just said no, I'm not going to do that, they printed this out for me, and it was dull. Actually it was just on a regular piece of paper, and it was kind of dull, even though it looks like a nice picture, right? So I decided to print on their photo paper just to see how easy it was. So, and they gave you, like I said, they give us a little. So you open up the drawer. There's another drawer that is actually above the paper drawer. So you have the paper at the very bottom. See it underneath there, and then there's this one on top. So basically it says your paper tray is open, so it's pretty much aware of what you're doing. And I wanted to see if it would be able to register this paper. Now it shows you to put the paper in there in between those two gray things. I'm doing this one-handed, and the paper wasn't staying together nicely. And look, notice that I'm putting the paper face down. They do show you the back of the paper on an image that, like, they tell you to do that. So now I just opened it a little bit with one thumb. You saw that they both opened. I'm sliding the paper in there, and now I'm closing it, and look, it tucked it in nicely. Now let's shut the door and see if it registers this paper being in there. Now it's saying the main tray, you have that kind of plain paper. Photo tray, it's looking. Let's see if it actually sees it. There it is. So it does. It notices the paper in there, which is great. So I'm going to hit OK. Well, it's ready to rock and roll. So what I'm going to do is get an image from my phone, and just all I'm going to do is pull that image up, and then where it says print on your phone, you just find your printer and print. It's that easy. Now normally, here it's asking for a card reader. If you have a camera that takes an SD card, you could just slide it in here and let it print too. I'm sure it's going to recalibrate the memory and the size. Now here's me and my little kitty. I found it on my phone, so I'm going to put a copy. I'm taking a snapshot of what I see on my phone, and so the phone found my printer right away, and so I just selected it, and let's see what it looks like. The one thing to keep in mind is it looks like it is resizing these things to fit on what kind of paper you have in there. Now that's pretty fantastic. So there's a few things it seems that HP has been cutting out of the for us to have to deal with, which is really nice. I mean, maybe that subscription service is a good service, but Seems like a lot of money for if you're doing 100 pages, then great. But it doesn't say 100 color pages. It's like, how are you going to know how much you're going to use? Okay, so keep an eye open. Here comes the paper coming out. I think it's coming. It's not that. I wanted to do this in real time so you would see how long it took to do a full color 4x5. What was it? 4x5, I think, something like that. Here it comes. And what's really neat, look at that. Oh, and let me tell you, in person, the picture is better than the way I took it. I took it with no light. I mean, the lighting is horrible. There's my little boy was at the vet, so I was trying to show him some love. I don't know if it worked or not. Anyway, that's the printer. I hope it helps. I kind of like it now. I like the process. It's easy. It was painless. So, I think we're getting there. HP.